the best place to work.
I love working here.
I feel very blessed.
I love it here.
I look forward to coming to work every day, being a part of this team.
Like a family away from home.
Where everyone feels like everybody knows their name.
A city that supports you. We see that with our benefits.
A pension, vacation days, job security.
Being able to be heard.
We feel valued. We feel respected.
Lee Summit is a very progressive city.
It's growing, it's thriving.
We have this drive towards not just doing a job, but doing it with a spirit of excellence.
I had the opportunity to continue to grow, regardless of 30 plus years doing this kind of work.
It's more than just dollars and cents.
We're here really to give back.
Providing a service to better a community.
To go out and serve people.
To be a part of something bigger than yourself. If I would have known what I know now, years ago, I would have been here much sooner.
Hello, Lee Summit. I'm Laura, and here's your flash briefing for the week of December 1st. City Council meet for regular session Tuesday night 6 in council chambers in City Hall. Meetings are open to the public or watched live on the city's YouTube channel. If you can't watch, catch the recorded meeting on demand on the YouTube channel or by subscribing to the Council Debrief newsletter, which breaks down 3 to 4 key agenda items. Subscribe at cityofls.net. Stay weather aware this week by signing up for LS Aware, the city's free mass notification system. It can alert residents about a variety of events, ranging from severe weather and other emergencies to more routine announcements, such as road closures and water utility maintenance. Messages will be sent to residents on their preferred communication device. You choose how you want to be notified. Learn more at lsaware.net. A reminder to Jackson County taxpayers, Lee Summit City Hall is no longer able to process tax payments, print receipts, or create waivers. Taxpayers are advised to visit a Jackson County location or pay online at jacksongov.org. Lee Summit Arts and Culture is now accepting applications for the 2026 Downtown Sculpture Walk, a temporary outdoor public art exhibit. Sculptures must be available for display between May 2026 through mid-May 2027. The submission deadline is January 5th. Find the application on the city's website. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Keeping our city beautiful is a collaborative effort for all citizens. The City of Lee Summit supports these efforts with a set of guidelines or ordinances, and the city's neighborhood services team helps put those guidelines into practice. These guidelines ensure grass stays trimmed, fences are maintained, home exteriors are kept up, and much more. We can all help out by first making sure our property meets these guidelines. If you notice a potential violation on a neighbor's property, first check the guidelines on the city's website. If it is a violation, the next step is to communicate with your neighbor directly. If that is not possible, or if the problem persists, it can be reported through LS Connect. LS Connect is an online platform for submitting issues to the city. You can access it on the city website or by downloading the app through your mobile device's app store. Once you submit an issue, it is reviewed by the Neighborhood Services team. A Neighborhood Services officer will then visit the site. For any violations found, the Neighborhood Services officer will leave a notice and speak with the property owner if possible. The officer's goal is to help the property owner solve or abate the problem as quickly as possible. After a 10-day period, the officer will inspect the site to see if the issue has been abated. Normally, by this point, the issue has been resolved. If not, depending on the type of issue, an extension could be granted, or the city might fix the problem at the owner's expense. In rare cases, if all other measures have been applied, the issue will be resolved in the municipal court. Neighborhood Services officers work hard to resolve problems quickly and positively. They are here to support the community as we work together to keep our city beautiful.
Traditionally, we think as police officers, those responding to law enforcement needs within the community. But honestly, we are there to serve our citizens, and our citizens do go into crisis. They do have mental health crises, and we're being called to those scenes on a regular basis. In order to help serve those citizens better, we did initiate the Crisis Intervention Team Program. These are officers that are specially trained to de-escalate crisis situations. Recently, we've brought co-responders onto the scene, licensed qualified mental health professionals housed within our police department, and they respond with those officers directly to those scenes where a crisis is occurring so they can interact with that citizen and get them the help they need right there on that scene.
The co-responders are either bachelor or master level in a behavioral health related field. They wear plain clothes, they don't carry weapons or anything like that.
I have a police radio that I listen to all day. Listen for, those key words: mental health, behavioral health, crisis.
There's a lot of officers that just call for me. I have my own radio number.
I also have the ability to self-dispatch to them and say 982's en route.
Officers en route, 914 Armstrong.
So typically I arrive after they've made it safe. I'll make contact and get kind of the rundown, and then I just kind of jump right in.
Like, hey, my name's Allison. I'm a mental health professional. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to take you to jail or arrest you.
Sometimes all a person needs is a voice, someone neutral, someone outside that, can listen. I do a lot of safety planning, including family, their support network, who's close to you. If they're home alone, who can come over and hang out with you today? Can we lock away your sharps? Can we put up your meds? Do you need meds? Can we get you over to the urgent care to get you assessed for your medications? Some of them also are like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This made me feel so much better.
Our main goal as co-responders is to, one, get people connected to the services that they need, and also divert from emergency rooms and jails.
And they almost get a different view of the police responding. That lets me know you care and the officers care.
Please, how can we help you?
My husband has...
In 2020, we had 722 mental health-related calls for service. 2022, by that time, 1,479. These mental health-related calls for service are increasing. How we're responding to that is increasing the number of crisis intervention team officers we have available, as well as the number of co-responders we have available to respond on these calls.
So what I think is important for the community to know about the co-responder program is that we're here, we exist. All you have to do when you call 911 is ask for us. Say, hey, I want a co-responder to respond to this crisis, and we'll go. I was really struggling about 8 years ago on my personal journey with mental health, and I met some amazing social workers and amazing programs that have helped me get to where I am today. I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. We want to help, and that's what we love to do.
So I had a client, we got a call, she had some suicidal ideations, and she really felt that she had nobody. And and getting to know her story and getting to know who comes around and sees you, well, then we found a support person, and they responded immediately. And we made a plan. I called back and checked on her in an hour, and then I checked on her in 2 hours. We were able to get her into the additional services to where she talks to someone every week or more. I just took a person that really just thought they had nobody and nobody would show up for them, and show them you do. And you'll be amazed who is in your corner if you just simply say, I need a little help.
Councilmember Hodges.
Thank you. I love where you guys are coming from. You're local and you're all kind of coming together. But where I'm struggling with from the last time that we talked about this, I think it was maybe October.
I actually grew up in my district. We moved here my sophomore year in high school. My parents still live in the same house, and I just went through high school here and then have stayed in Lee Summit ever since. The neighborhood that my parents live in is Canterbury. My favorite thing, and I still do to this day, is I love to go running. They have the best sidewalks. I feel you can go for days. So now I still get to do that since I live not too far from them. I get to use those same routes that I took during high school, and it's just fun. All right, let's see it, Jess. Come on. We're a big soccer family. I love sports, I love to watch sports, and it's even more fun to watch sports when my kids are in it. I coach my middle daughter Josie's team, and I have since kindergarten. We do the basketball, we do softball, we're gonna do volleyball, and it's just so much fun. Something that I would like to accomplish while on city council is to get more family activities here. I don't want to have to be driving my family to, say, the Kansas side or any other city but my own. And I want to be able to invest in our city and make family memories in our city.
Open the public hearing on the matter of K1 Speed, Diventures,
Crack Shack, Blue Jeans Golf, Councilmember Hodges.
I just want to say thank you for bringing this to Lee Summit, because I grew up at this. My grandpa would take us there, so I'm excited that now I can take my kids there.
Bill number 23-0, pre-construction services for the downtown Market Plaza project.
I'm just as excited as everybody else about the downtown marketplace. I'm extremely excited about the community that it's going to bringing more family things to do to the city and right in the heart of it.
When you presented the numbers, the first time you came to us, it was 25.5%, and then
people were like, oh, being on council, it's not a lot of work, I think it was a bit of a surprise when there's so much info that you realize you just don't know. Even something as simple as sidewalks. It's like you don't realize how much goes into something like that. After a couple months, I'm like, okay, I'm finally, catching the groove of how things work, learning new things, but also feel like I've got some things under my belt as well. It's been a great experience so far.
This meeting of the Finance and Budget Committee for December 1st, 2025. Can we get a roll call, please?
Chair Shields.
Here.
Vice Chair Lovell. Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Here.
Councilmember Funk.
Here.
Okay, we have quorum. Devin, we are getting some echoing when you talk, so whatever you need to do to control that is great. All right, then we will go ahead and look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Chair,
Go for
I
it.
move to approve the agenda as published.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Can we get a vote, please? Oh, it looks like Councilmember Lovell has joined us as well for the record.
Chair Shields.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez. Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lovell.
Aye.
All right, the agenda has been approved. Apologies, I am losing my voice, so please bear with me. Do we have any public comments today or any member of the public that wanted to join our Zoom meeting?
No public comments.
Okay, then we will move straight into our matters of business. First, we're going to look at approval of the November 3rd, 2025 Finance and Budget Committee action letter. Do I have a motion?
Chair.
Yes.
I move a approval of the November 3rd Finance and Budget Committee action letter.
Second.
Okay, I think we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, second by Vice Chair Lovell to approve the action letter. Can we get a vote, please?
Vice Chair Lovell.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Aye.
Chair Shields.
Aye.
Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
Next item on our agenda is TMP-3531, an ordinance approving an agreement between the City of Lee Summit and the Missouri Department of Public Safety for the city's acceptance of appropriated funds in the amount of $1,500,000 for the planning, design, and construction of an emergency operations facility. Who's presenting this one?
I would be, ma'am.
Okay.
No, Mike Snyder, Fire Chief. Appreciate the opportunity. There are two pieces that you're looking to approve this evening, or we're seeking your approval. The first one is a $1.5 million appropriation from our state in regards to the Joint Operations Facility. Just would like to thank the efforts of the mayor and council to work with our legislature to secure that funding. This $1.5 million is for planning, design, and construction of the Emergency Joint Operations Center.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee? No, we always love to see state funding coming in, so I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I move to recommend to City Council for approval of TMP-3531 An Ordinance approving an agreement between the City of Lee Summit and the Missouri Department of Public Safety for the city's acceptance of appropriated funds in the amount of $1.5 million for the planning, design, and construction of an emergency operations facility.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Vice Chair Lovell, second by Councilmember Funk to send TMP-3531 to council with recommendation of approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Chair Shields.
Aye.
Vice Chair Lovell.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Aye.
Councilmember Funk.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Next item is TMP-3532, an ordinance approving an agreement between the City of Lee Summit and the Missouri Department of Public Safety for the city's acceptance of appropriated funds in the amount of $2 million for the planning, design, and construction of emergency operations facility. Are we going to get a separate presentation on this one, or kind of cover?
It's your decision, Chair.
Are there any questions from the committee regarding this one? It seems kind of in line with what we just talked about.
No.
Okay, seeing no questions, I think we're all set. Then I would look for a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I move to recommend council for approval TMP-3532, an ordinance approving an agreement between the City of Lee Summit and the Missouri Department of Public Safety for the city's acceptance of appropriated funds in the amount of $2 million for the planning, design, and construction of an emergency operations facility.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Vice Chair Lovell, second by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez to recommend TMP 3532 to council for approval. Can we get a vote, please?
Councilmember Funk,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez,
Aye.
Vice Chair Lovell,
Aye.
Chair Shields.
Aye. All right, that passes as well. The last main item on our agenda is 2025-7332, a presentation regarding the FY26 first quarter financial report. Mr. Stoyanov, are you giving that to us today?
Yes, I am.
All
Let's
right.
see if I remember how to share on Zoom. Nope, sharing is not turned on. Hold on one sec. Let's see if AV.
Eric, try it again. I think I clicked allow.
Yes, I was just finding.
Okay.
All right. Can everybody? Oh, that's wrong.
What is that on Ms. Lake's jacket?
And got a bellyache.
All right. Can everybody see the slide?
Yep, looks like that's working now.
Okay. Can you see the slide only, or can you see the slide with notes?
I can see slide with notes.
too.
Yeah. Wonder what. Hold on. How do I fix that?
Okay, now now you see the notes again.
Hold on one second for me. Sorry, we haven't been in a Zoom world in a while. So let me get this for you. All right, here we go. Apologies.
Works.
That looks good, Eric.
All right, there we go. All right, is that big enough for everyone to see?
That is, I think if you go back over to that spreadsheet, though, you're going to need to zoom in on that one.
Okay. All right, so here's the first quarter budget report. Now that I've gotten the technical difficulties out of the way. So again, the agenda for this one, we'll look at general fund revenue outlook to start, then we'll look at the expense outlook, and then finish up with a look at public safety sales tax. So just a reminder of all the indicators. We'll have green for positive outlook, yellow for a cautious outlook, and then red for a negative outlook. Overall, the city's in line with budgeted estimates for revenues and expenditures, though there are some revenue trends that we're closely monitoring. At the moment, no alarming trends when it comes to expenditures. So here's a look at the revenue outlook. So for sales tax, the category as a whole is in line with budget estimate. There are some underlying trends that are a concern, but given that we were very cautious with our sales and use tax projection going into the budget year, we're right in line with that. We'll get into more detail here in the next slide. Franchise taxes also in line with budget estimate. Motor vehicle tax, that comprises sales tax, the fuel tax, and then the license tax in line. Other revenues, so that is one that we're keeping an eye on. It's cautious at the moment, but that is investment earnings. The one we're particularly concerned about is the GEMT program. So the ground emergency, get this right, ground emergency medical transportation. So that is the voluntary program that we participate in, that we get reimbursement for uncompensated costs for qualifying ambulance expenses. So just a little bit of a concern there that we can get into here in a minute. So here's looking at more of the detail. So this shows the annual budget, the first quarter actuals, the remaining budget, and then the percentage of budget utilized. So the target for the first quarter would be 25%. As you can see, that sales and use tax just slightly above the 25% mark. So looking good overall. I will note that we have numbers through November now. For sales tax, we are down 0.3% on sales tax through November compared to this time last year. For use tax, we're up 5.8%. So combined sales and use tax up 0.9%. But again, we're very cautious going into this, which is why we are on track with that. But just we are seeing weaker sales and use tax growth than we had seen previously. Motor vehicle tax, again, that one is right in line. The biggest component of that we're seeing is that fuel tax, which this is the last fiscal year that we will see the fuel tax increasing. We do not have a planned fuel tax increase for starting next fiscal year. Sales tax is looking a little bit weaker in the motor vehicle category compared to this time last year, but the fuel tax is outweighing it and is the biggest component of that category, which is why we're right on line with budget. Franchise tax, we are slightly below target. Don't think it's anything super concerning at this point because it's 24.6%. We are just seeing weaker cable numbers than we had seen, and electric was a little bit down through the first quarter compared to this time last year. But natural gas is supposed to increase, and we're getting into that cold season. So normally we have a better idea of that once we hit the mid-year point or just slightly past the mid-year point. And then fines and forfeitures and licenses and permits are both looking very strong. I think I mentioned at the last meeting, licenses and permits in particular. Last year we had a lot of planning activity. This year it seems like we're having more building activity. So we've seen permits, fees, everything in that category performing really well through the first quarter. Charges for service is down just slightly, but I will note the biggest thing that's impacting this is we have EMS dispatch contracts. That's about 1.1 million of that number, and we bill that on an annual basis, and those bills go out in January. So we don't have any of that revenue accounted for through the first quarter of this year. Other than that, it's ambulance fees is the biggest category. I think 80% of that number is ambulance fees, and right now we are exceeding budget on the ambulance fee side. And then the other revenue, that's that investment earnings, GMT, cigarette tax, various grants, and then school resource officer reimbursement. Those just come in a little bit more variable throughout the year. So it's not always going to be a perfect 25%, but I did mention that GEMT program, there are just a few questions surrounding that moving forward. And so we still have to have some internal discussions, but we may have to reduce our revenue forecast on that side. So we pay into the program and then we get reimbursed. We're still trying to figure out the full impact internally to see if we have to reduce that forecast number. Any questions on the revenue side before I move into expenses?
No.
Any questions from the committee? Okay, you can keep going.
Okay. So then general fund expenditure on personnel, we're in line with budget estimate. You'll see personnel does look a little bit high, but once we take into account capital project reimbursement, the numbers look a little better. And then the other operating costs are all in line with budget estimate. So again, looking for that 25%, as I mentioned, personnel is at 26.7%. Part of our personnel number includes 2.8 million in capital project reimbursement for staff time that's allocated to capital projects. We have not gotten any of that accounted for in the system yet. So I just put in a rough number. If we hit 25%, where would that put us? And it would put personnel numbers right at 25.6% versus 26.7. It's one of those that we have project tracking set up in Workday. We're just trying to work out a little bit of the kinks behind the scenes on that one. So, and then for supplies and services, and fees, claims, and disbursements, all within budget or below budget. The three that stand out that are above budget target right now: capital, finance charges, and transfers out. For capital, there is some cleanup on our end about moving some things that were charged to capital for general fund into capital project categories. For the finance charges, those are the ambulance and pumper lease interest payments, and then the pumper lease principal payment. And so that is why those are higher than that, because several of those payments have already gone out. I think one interest payment is still remaining, but all of those are planned for and will happen. It's just that some of them happen right at the beginning of the year. So even though it's at 90%, nothing to be concerned about with that 90%. And then the transfers out. So at the beginning of the year, any expansion request that is approved, we transfer the full amount out to where it needs to go. And then we have overhead charges for CBS, fleet. All of those are recurring entries that happen on a monthly basis. So that is why that number looks a little bit higher than the 25%. Is there's some significant upfront costs that happen in July for those expansion positions. We also transferred out Green Street operational cost at the beginning of the year, which I think that was $256,000 that we transferred out right at the beginning. But again, we'll hit that budget number. So even though it's high, that's a number that won't move. And I think that wraps up the general fund side before I jump into public safety sales tax. Any questions on general fund?
Any questions from the committee?
No.
All right. Seeing none, I think you can continue.
All right. So then public safety sales tax outlook. So sales tax in line with budget estimate, and then they're the same on the personnel and the operating costs for public safety sales tax. So here's a look at their revenue. So on the general fund, our sales and use tax category comprises sales tax, use tax, marijuana tax, and then the economic activity taxes that we pay out as part of the TIF contracts. So that's why our numbers don't align perfectly percentage-wise, but you can see with theirs, sales and use tax is right in line with the budget target, slightly above. But seeing the same trends that we're seeing on the general fund basis of just weaker sales growth, weaker sales tax growth, and then better use tax growth. And then finishing up here, here's their expenses. So on the personnel side, they have more vacancies in the public safety sales tax than they do in the general fund, which is why that number is below the 25%. And then supplies, repairs, and maintenance, all of those things are well below budget. We'll note on the service front, so that was an accounts payable accrual that was done at the beginning of the year. That's why that number was negative for the first quarter. It's changed now if you look at it in real time, but that's what is the quirk there. It was an accounts payable accrual reversal. And that is the first quarter update. Any questions?
Thank you. So I guess I have one question. You said that our sales tax collections are down a little bit year over year. How much noise do you generally expect to see in that, and how much kind of just slow, steady increase do you expect to see? Because I assume we expect just with the growth of the city, with inflation, we expect to see at least nominally those numbers kind of going up. So is it normal to see them kind of tick down and then go back up, or how are you feeling about what you're seeing right now?
I will say in years past, well, use tax has been growing just rapidly because it's the newer tax. And so it took a little bit to get caught up to a good baseline. Right now, I think it's still a good growth number at 6%. With sales tax, I feel like what we had been seeing as like a long-term average was 3% growth, 2 to 3% growth. And so I would say that sales tax is a little bit of a concern. And I think we used to wonder if it was sales tax moving into use tax or vice versa, just on consumer habits, but I don't think it fully accounts for the change. And I don't think that consumer change is accounting for the full difference. And I know internally we looked at it, and we looked at it on an inflation adjusted basis. In the past 3 years, I guess, we've seen sales tax decline. And so we've only been getting basically inflation on our sales tax amount. Use tax has been a little bit different, but it does just, but when you look at economic news on a daily basis, it seems like consumer sentiment is very low. People are being cautious with their spending, and that seems to be what we're seeing as well within our community.
Okay. Thank you.
Chair,
Yes.
Eric, from an expense side, I guess the largest scale project we have with the city is the Joint Operations Center. We've just approved another some additional funds to kind of help us complete some of that construction and all the equipment that goes in within it. Are we seeing an increase in do we have any tariff effect or any increase in costs? I mean, I know construction costs are high in general. Do you see any trends there that we should be aware of?
I think I would maybe defer to Brianna potential on this. I don't see all of the purchase orders on that, so I don't feel comfortable necessarily answering on the construction front what prices we've been seeing compared to previous.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, I would want to have someone on the Public Works construction side kind of speak to that a little bit more. I will say we have had tariff language come across in procurement contracts, and we were successful in negotiating. Lisa Hatt, our procurement manager, got that negotiated out of one of our recent contracts. So we are seeing that pop up. I don't know if I have a full assessment of what that looks like. It's something we can certainly dig into and try to bring some information back to you all on specific projects and the cost impact of that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be answered today necessarily, but I think it's something just to kind of keep an eye on. It's not a good combination of sales taxes are going down and our costs continue to go up. I think we have to be very mindful of that.
Yes, and I think that's why we have been intentional this year with trying to make sure that we're bringing information to you more frequently than just quarterly. So that's something that we can keep in front of you guys regularly.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
we will dig into that, and we will bring you guys back some more information.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you. Any other questions from the committee?
No, ma'am.
All right, then. Thanks so much, Mr. Stoyanov. I think that takes us to roundtable. Do we have any roundtable from the committee members?
No.
Any roundtable from staff?
I would say not finance and budget related necessarily, but appropriate due to the weather and the fact that we are on Zoom for this meeting because of the weather. Just a reminder that our snow crews are out there. They hope to be in residential streets this evening. They're still working on some of the main thoroughfares and arterial feeder streets into neighborhoods. And they're on a continual 12-hour shift schedule. So they will continue that schedule until they feel like they've done all that they can to make the streets safe and passable again.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lake.
Thanks.
Do we have another roundtable? If not, then we will adjourn this meeting at 4:24 p.m. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.